So, welcome back everyone. Map number 3 of this best of 5 finals. So far 2-0 up. Could be the last map of the evening. A share of 450 euros on the line. Winner takes a 300. Lion share, the loser 150. Spawning down in the bottom left hand position of Frost, we have got the red Protoss player. Representing my insanity, it's Stardust. And his opponent down in the bottom right, the blue Terran, also representing my insanity, Jjakji. So Jjakji 2-0 up at the moment, 1 game away from victory, and it's looking good for him. He is of course ranked 2nd in the world after Hero currently, and that is CJ Entus Hero, not Liquid Hero. Anyway, Jjakji for the moment isn't doing anything too crazy. Down comes that barracks. No gas as of yet. Is probably going to start one up though. There we go, yep. So it's going to go Reapers. Good map for Reapers. A little bit of cliff area you can utilise to come and poke in. But also, on a 4-player map, you can have some cool times. Because you can catch your opponent off guard potentially. Stardust though, he's going Nexus first. Mixing it up. Going, okay, well, what I've done so far with these gateway plays, this aggressive play, hasn't really worked. So, I'll go for something new, and hope that it works out being a bit more greedy. So, Nexus first, gateway should get stirred up after. The downside to this is that a Reaper, if it goes the right way first, is going to get there before there's really anything there. Stalkers and a Mothership Core are a bit delayed, so a Reaper could have a bit of a field day up against probes. Always concerning. And the Reaper is rallied the right way. This is a little bit annoying right now. So, Reaper on his way out. Jjakji should be starting up a command center once he's got enough minerals for it. Meanwhile, Stardust will have an early economic lead with that Nexus. Just positioning around a couple of pylons, giving vision of everywhere. Double gases also being taken. Once the gateway's finished, we should see a cybernetics core started. Command center now on its way out for Jjakji. About to get taken. And yeah, this is looking pretty nice for Jjakji. Oh no, I thought for a second they changed direction, but I was just checking around, making sure that there's no scouting probe or anything like that. Cybercore on its way out. Now, this is why this Reaper coming over is going to be so incredibly annoying for Stardust. Is because the Cybercore still has about halfway till complete. The Reaper can pretty much kite drone probes all day. Delaying a little bit, dealing with this one, but of course will chase it down, so still gets a kill, which is always nice. Delays scouting a little bit for Stardust. Comes in, sees the Nexus there. Cybercore, nearly finished, but in comes the Reaper. He should be able to rack up a couple more kills, to be honest. There's not really too much that Stardust can do about it. He can try and poke and prod it, pull away the damaged drones, probes rather, but has to be so careful with everything that happens. Nice little control there with those probes. That Reaper getting a fair bit low. Mothership Core about to pop out, and it may actually kill the Reaper flat outright. It's got 3 kills, so the Reaper has to be careful. Backs on out, Jjakji very much aware with the different animation the Nexus is producing a Mothership Core, not probes. So backs out. And this should really be now the end of this aggression. Refinery. Coming down, second one for Jjakji. No bunker at the front this time. He knows that since his opponent went for a Nexus first, not too much more aggression could be coming out. That probe gets a little low, but the Reaper having to back away, because with a Stalker and a Mothership Core there, not much else can be done by him. Jjakji is going to have to contend with a weird proxy Stargate. And I say a weird one because it's not in the usual spot. You usually see a proxy Stargate like around here or something to come in. But no, just being built out the way by Stardust. It's actually further away than if you build it at the edge here, but doesn't want to get it scouted by the Reaper. So that's some smart moves by Stardust. Jjakji adding in Storm now. Stim. What is up? My brain is just confused now. It's because I saw a victory screen when I loaded in against Stardust. It's blown my brain. Anyway, this is now going pretty cool. Up comes the Reaper, yet again. He's going to be trying to get another few probe kills, but mainly a scout off now. Gets blocked, so actually that means that Jjakji is somewhat limited in what he can see. He hasn't seen around here, scanning to get the remaining view. Doesn't see anything important. And that's going to confuse him, because he knows that his opponent probably does have 6 probes in gas. He will have seen that. So he's like, okay, where's that gas being spent? Already though, Jjakji does have the engineering bay coming down. He's got a decent number of Marines around. He's also got one Marauder in here. And that Stalker needs to be careful. The Stalker is going to die. Okay, big hit. Photon Overcharge come out. And that's really what this group of units was for. Is to bait out the Photon Overcharge and have the energy be expended on nothing. But getting the Stalker as well, that's a big bonus. Missile turrets though, already getting started at the natural base. In case, of course, there was a Dark Templar coming through. Marine count relatively high. Where is this Oracle going to go? Heading straight for the natural base. Marines, 6 of them coming up in towards the main base to make sure he's safe there. Handful being kept down on the natural, but not quite enough to stop anything. Second Oracle also coming through. First one, getting a kill already. Going to rack up a second kill pretty quick. 3 kills in total now, but the Marines are there. Get it very low and does snipe down the Oracle. Nice control there. Really good control from Jjakji. Oracle still just poking around, not really doing much in the main base, in his own main base. Meanwhile, Jjakji wanting to start medevac production, but it's a little bit supply blocked. And it's actually a pretty substantial supply block. Those 2 supply depots only just now beginning, so it's about, well, since when I noticed, a 30-second supply block. That was mainly due to Jjakji having to spend his attention on dealing with an Oracle, as opposed to anything else. Twilight Council, 4 additional gateways and the double upgrades being chrono boosted out for Stardust at the moment. So he's going to probably go for a nice little blink timing. Blink on this map's good because there's a lot of cliff area that blink can be utilised on. He may as well look to go into a third base. We've seen Stardust opt for something like that previously. But with the double upgrades, that's a bit new. He's also getting down the robotics facility, so that's a lot later. But it also means that it's tying up a few more resources. Main base still nicely defended by these 6 Marines. As Stim comes through, the Oracle takes a lot of damage, backs on out with 40 HP. Couple more Marines, a few more Marauders making their way across. Just keeping a close peek on anything else that could be happening. We've got, of course, the double forges completing 1-1 upgrades for Stardust. He's getting a few photon cannons, 1 in each base, just in case of any drops, but also if there's any Widow Mines. Wants to try and pick them off quickly. Marines Marauders now ready to push in yet again. The Mothership Core does have enough energy for a Photon Overcharge. The drop could come down in the main though, and that's exactly what Jjakji's going for. Loaded it up. The Oracle will see the medevac coming up, and this forces Stardust to be in 2 places at once. Photon Overcharge at the natural base. That means there isn't one now from the main base. There isn't enough energies. The push moving into the main. Jjakji continuing on with the pressure, but the main is going to take a bit more of a beating. Big warp in of Zealots coming through though, and with the Photon Cannon, that gets stopped. The Oracle is still killed. The Natural getting pushed into. Yet again, the Marauders picking apart a couple of those Stalkers. The Zealots taking a bit of fire too. Jjakji though pulls back. Stardust still holding. That Photon Cannon in the main, so important. Jjakji as well hasn't yet scouted the fact that there's Twilight Council robotics facility. +2 coming down. The upgrade advantage is still there for Stardust. Charge is now done as well for the Zealots, so they can close up the distance to those Marauders a bit better. Couple of Zealots warped in as well. They're going to go to counter-attack, and there isn't too much here. So if Stardust can hold, he can deal some critical damage up to Jjakji. But Jjakji sees these units coming, so he immediately pulls back those reinforcements while pushing into the natural base yet again. Some good force fields from Stardust. The Zealots with charge close up the distance, start chipping away at these Marauders. The Immortal dealing some great damage, and Jjakji has to retreat. Back at home though, he hasn't taken any damage really. Stardust, he's been able to hold this off. It was only the original Oracle that did much. And yeah, 53 to 51 worker losses. Well, 53 to 51 workers in Jjakji's favour. And Jjakji again is starting up the 3rd base quicker than Stardust. He's discovered this Stargate, going to depower it. Also worth, if you feel safe doing so, killing the Stargate, because it doesn't take much to put another pylon there and it can catch you off guard. Nice control of those Widow Mines. Actually blocking Stardust out of his base at the moment. He tries to move back up there and run into problems, and with more Marauders coming through, that could be nice. Pylon getting taken down. Surround, but good feedbacks on the medevac. Stop healing from the right-hand flank. The left-hand flank has pretty much been annihilated. A medevac dying there too, but more reinforcements coming in. Jjakji catching Stardust's army out of position. An Immortal is coming down, takes a big hit. All of its shields down, but the Archon is, for the moment, enough to stop it. A few more Widow Mines trying to come through. They're coming off cooldown quickly. Medevac's getting taken out, but the Archon dies. Still more Zealots trying to retreat back. They are able to get to safety, and this puts Stardust in a better spot to defend. But Jjakji, over at his base, has got the 3rd nearly finished. That gives it an economic lead. Stardust also now with the Observer, able to see those Widow Mines, but a quick scan snipes it off, means those Widow Mines are safe for a little bit longer, as long as they're burrowed up, of course. Jjakji getting some nice damage down. He's up now by about 40 supply. 40 of which all being within pretty much that army supply difference. So, big lead there for Jjakji. Another Photon Overcharge caused, but with the double Widow Mine there, some big hits could go down. Quick unburrow to make sure they don't detonate on the Zealots. And the Widow Mines get a big hit. The Mothership Core dies. The Archons are also being taken out. Nice surround there. The Immortals gonna die very quickly. And with that better concave, Jjakji just pushes through. Gonna have to pull back, or at least up into the main base. Doesn't really want to have to contend with the Photon Overcharge if he can avoid it with so few units. Even with a good healing from the medevacs, it's still quite rough. Over at Jjakji's base, he's having to fare with a little bit of a Zealot warp in, and his third actually took a lot of damage. The Marauders finally killed off. Only one unit getting away to safety. This command center being rapidly repaired by the SCVs. Group hug time for them, just to make sure that the command center doesn't feel too bad after getting assaulted. Of course, that was a cartoon I saw on Reddit earlier, which is really funny. Second Photon Cannon coming down. 2-2 upgrades. Sorry, 3 upgrades coming down for Stardust, who's got a big upgrade lead at the moment, up against Jjakji's 1-1. But the economy is really sitting there for Jjakji. He's got 3 mules, giving him a big boost over Stardust once they kick in. He's even pulling a couple of SCVs for this fight. Really wants to go hard. 2 Widow Mines are down. Photon Cannon and an Observer granting vision, but this is a fair few units. They're moving in. Jjakji going for the kill now. He's up by a lot of supply. The Photon Cannon gets targeted quickly. There's a few Zealots, but they're not too much to contend with. A lot of Widow Mines getting the detonations out quick. This SCVs soaking up the damage. 2 Archons, 2 Immortals remain. Is it going to be enough? The Nexus falls. That is a critical loss to Stardust's economy. He knows he can't hold it. GG Grats, and Jjakji wins the 300 euros and the finals of the February Go for SC2 Cup. 3-0. Stardust, though, doesn't walk away empty-handed. He, of course, still wins 150 euros. And, well, he came second up against some very good players.